Hello and welcome to my channel if you're new here, and welcome back if you've been here before. It's getting colder out, and a really great thing to have when it's getting chilly is buffalo chicken dip. The first time I had it was at a baby shower that a friend of mine threw, and I thought was fantastic, and so she gave me the recipe, well, explained it to me, and also told me that it was on the back of this bottle. It's the Frank's Red Hot Wings sauce. So after that, I gave it a shot of making it, and it was great, and so I make it frequently. Well, at least as frequently as I can. I'd say at least once every couple of months. And so I have my little girl in here with me in her high chair, and I'm going to start making it, and I'm going to walk you through it with me. Okay, so first of all, you're going to need the shredded cheddar cheese. That's what I prefer. I know that you can use other types of cheese. The back of the bottle says crumbled blue cheese, but I'm not a fan of blue cheese, so I use the mild cheddar cheese. Then obviously you need this stuff. This is the Frank's Red Hot Wing Sauce. And it has the recipe right here on the back, so if you don't catch it all from me, it's right there for you. You can just read it off of there, but love to have you cook along with me. And then after that you need 1 block of cream cheese. I don't mind using off-brand, but my husband likes the Philadelphia original brand, so that's what I'm using. And then the recipe calls for Hidden Valley Ranch, but I like this home-style ranch because it doesn't have soy in it. I try to avoid soy as much as possible, and this stuff tastes really great, and you can use it as a dip or as a dressing. And then naturally, chicken breast. Now my sister-in-law, she likes to boil chicken breast and then shred it and put it in. I find that this is way easier and less time consuming. So I usually use about 2 cans because it's about, I think it's roughly 2 cups that it calls for. But 1.5 cans would probably do it, but I like chicken, so I don't mind having the extra in it. So I use 2 cans of chicken, and then naturally you'll need a measuring cup. And, well, if you're using canned chicken, you're going to need the can opener. So, I do mine in the crock pot. You could cook it in the oven. There's basically 2 versions. One that you can do in the oven, and then there's the other one that you can do in a crock pot. And the friend of mine that made it, she did a great job of it in the crock pot, and I think that's just a little bit easier. So, that's what I'm going to use. So, I'm going to get started now. First, take the lid off. I'll set it over here. And the first thing it wants me to do is put in the block of cheese. So, open this up. Hi, baby. Okay, now that I got the knife out, it'll be a little bit easier to take care of this because I'm going to open up the cheese, dump it in, and then I'll break it down in the crock pot. Hi, baby. My little girl loves to eat, and so I got her some snacks while I'm making this to keep her occupied. Okay, so now that the cream cheese is in there, the recipe wants me to put in the ranch. So, I'm going to give this bottle a good shake before I open it, because this is a brand new bottle. And then I'll put in the 1/2 cup that the recipe calls for. Naturally, if you want to make more, like a double batch, you just double the ingredients that it calls for. So, this is the 1/2 cup of the ranch dressing. I'm going to put that in here now. And next it calls for the Frank's sauce. I'm going to shake that up. Make sure it's good and mixed before I put that in. Go ahead and pour that into the crock pot. I want this to go ahead and start melting down. I'm now going to go ahead and plug the crock pot in and turn it up to high. Let's see. There we go. Now it's on high. Okay, and next it calls for the cheese. So this would be 1/2 cup of the cheese, and like I said, I'm using mild cheddar cheese. While the recipe says blue cheese, I don't like blue cheese. So I'll use the cheese that I like. And I know that my friend who made it used, I think she either used a cheddar or a combination of cheddar and maybe jack cheese. So I know it tastes really great using a cheese other than the blue cheese. Away. Now dump this all in. So I'll put these to the side. Now the last ingredient to go in will be the canned chicken. And one of those little hacks that I picked up along the way is that, I'll wash my hands. So, one of the little hacks that I picked up along the way is that sometimes when you cut a can going like this on the top, it doesn't always cut so well, and you end up with a can that's not like completely cut all the way around. Drives me nuts. So I think I saw this on Facebook. It's one of those little life hacks where instead you hook it this way, laying on top. Now whether that's the way the can opener is supposed to be used all along and I just missed it, I grew up with an electric can opener. I don't know. But I know that since I've been using it on the side, I never have a problem getting the lid off anymore. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'll cut both of these. Hi, baby. Uh-huh. Now I'm going to go drain this first one, and I'll be right back. Okay, now the first can is drained, so I'll go ahead and dump that in here. Now time for the second can. So I'll take that label off that came with the chicken. And open on it. And open this one. now that I got everything in there, time to quickly clean up my little bit of mess. Okay, so now everything is in the crock pot, and I'm going to start mixing it and getting it all incorporated together. Let me show you. So this is everything in the crock pot together. So right now I'm just waiting for it to heat up enough that the cream cheese will start melting down. And then once I see it starting to break down a little bit more, I'll put the lid on, and then I'll come back and stir it roughly every 5 minutes until it looks like it's a good consistency. Usually it takes about, I'd say 25 to 30 minutes, and then it'll taste so good. So let this all get cooked and melted into each other a little bit more. Okay, so now it's time to stop and stir it. I'm going to fill it here. And it's been cooking now for about 10 minutes, so I've stirred it already once. And it's combining nicely. So I probably have maybe 10 or 15 minutes left. Hi, baby. Okay, I think this looks pretty done. Yes, that's very nicely mixed, all melted together. Looks delicious. So I think I'm going to call this done and give it a try. Go ahead and scoop some of this in. And it looks so good. Tastes good too. So, I hope this inspires you to make some because it is so delicious. And the recipe is right there on the bottle. So now that the dip is done, it's on to cleaning up the kitchen. It's not really that bad, but yeah, it does need some work. So first get started with washing my hands and putting up some clean items that we have on the counter. My husband got some new salt and pepper grinders, and he had the internal components and the little funnel for it laying on that paper towel, so I had to put that up. And now on to washing. So I'm going to just sort of do pre-wash on some dishwasher items before I get into hand washing the stuff in the sink that I don't put into the dishwasher. Before hand washing the dishes, I decided to get a new sponge because I have a bubble up dish for both the sponge and the bristled brush, and the sponge has been used for a bit now and it was starting to sort of wear out and break down, so I got another sponge for that, and I'm just adding the soap to the bubble up dish there in the water so that way I can
get started on hand washing the items that are in the sink. So I don't have an overly full sink, but you know, enough dishes to need to clear out the sink and clear off the counter. Now I've got most of the dishes, I think pretty much all the dishes actually, out of the sink, and I'm going to start working on clearing off the counter, emptying a bottle that my husband set aside for me to make another one of those attention bottles for our daughter. Just finishing rinsing that out to get anything residue from the drink that was in it, get that out of there. And after that I just have a few more things to clear off the counter and wash. I believe I have two pans over there, not pots, pans, because my husband actually was gracious enough that morning to make bacon and eggs for me, and so I get to clean up the pan, which he did a really good job, and it was very sweet of him making breakfast for me, so I have no issue with that. So, finished up with the dishes and the counters and the stove, and now it's on to vacuuming. And I have to say, by far, of all the rooms to clean in the house, the kitchen is my favorite. It's sort of my go-to room of any room to clean in the house. And I was wondering, what do you guys prefer? What is your favorite room to clean in your home? And just finishing up with the vacuum cleaner and a nice look at the finished kitchen, the counters, and the sink before moving on to the bedroom. So first thing I want to do is strip the sheet and the duvet cover off of the comforter because they both need wash. I don't wash the duvet cover as much as I wash the sheets, and I generally wash the pillowcases on a rotation of like every other sheet wash or so. So it's time to wash the duvet cover and the sheet, and then once I get that off the bed and into the laundry, I'm going to fold and put away some laundry that I have in a basket. You can't see it because it's off to the right side, but my daughter is in her bassinet, so that way she's in this. So while the duvet cover and the sheet are in the wash, I just flatten out the comforter a bit to give myself a good surface to fold laundry on, and I'll just get the laundry basket in here. And it started getting warm from moving around so much, so I took off my hoodie and hung it up with my robe, and I dug into the laundry. So it was mostly towels and lots of baby clothes, actually. Lots of my daughter's clothes were in there, and just a few towels and some of my clothes. There was only a few of my items. But yeah, my husband's shorts were in there. I, like some other YouTubers, I won't fold underwear laundry on camera. So I just sort of left that in the basket to be folded and sorted out later. But yeah, like I said, most of the stuff was towels, as you can see here anyway, and then some of the baby's clothes and just a few of my items. But overall, the folding went pretty quick, as well as the putting away the laundry. So it wasn't like a bad load of laundry to fold up and put away. Now on to the nightstand. I like to try and keep this clear, but every once in a while, stuff just seems to get piled on it. So just sort of organizing the books and consolidating down these bottles. I'm hypothyroid, so just basically consolidating all the pills down into one bottle because there's no need to have the almost empty bottle with the new bottle. And then I was taking the label off because my husband likes to use these for storing like spare screws and that sort of thing at his workbench, so I usually take the label off and give those to him to do as he pleases with them. But yeah, they hang out at his workbench and keep little spare tools and screws and that sort of thing. Okay, the last two things I wanted to do were to vacuum the floor and just get any sort of dirt or dust that I just didn't see off the floor and get nice and clean, and then to get the duvet cover back onto the comforter and the sheet back onto the bed. My husband and I wanted to go out and see a movie that was a limited release tonight, so the sheet and the duvet cover sort of went on when we got back, which was after dark, but it got on the bed at least. So I want to thank you for watching this video. I hope it gave you lots of cleaning inspiration. If you haven't yet, please click subscribe down below. I'd really appreciate it. And if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And I hope to see you in another video.